If you step out of your house, there's no privacy anymore. And we came to some of the jobs and they said, you, the third or fourth company, they said they cannot do the way I want. I'm like, what's the way you want? Show us. I think they did some illegal stuff, who knows? And they started almost fighting with me while I'm putting the cameras. But this is not their house. I was working on their neighbor's house. You wake up in the morning thinking you're going to go to jobs, and they said, okay, we close the company.
Welcome to another episode of the Key Concepts podcast. Today we have Vlad with us, and he is the CEO and owner of HZ Security, and he does a lot of camera installs and a whole bunch of other cool stuff. So, Vlad, pleasure having you. Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. So let's just kind of dive into it. Why don't you tell me about HZ Security? What is everything that you guys do, and where can people find your social media accounts, your website, your phone numbers, your handles, that type of stuff?
So basically, we have a website, which is hz-security.com. So you can find some information on the website. Since, this is kind of new company, but I have more than 10 years of experience in low voltage. All kind of low voltage, not only the cameras, but we're also installing the business server racks and stuff like that. So first, website, and second, you can find information in Instagram. I have that my Yelp account, but about 80 to 90% of Yelp requests are fraudulent requests. It's just the bots, chat bots or whatever bots. They keep sending for all the nearby companies, but it's not a real person. I had that situations probably like 10 to 15 times. Someone wrote me a request like, I want the camera to be installed. And I was in Yelp. I answered immediately, less than 30 seconds or whatever. And no response. And then start reviewing or researching on Google, why is that? And realized that it's just the bots. They're just taking money off of me by clicks, because every click costs me money. Whoever clicks and send a request, it comes off of my account, and Yelp is making money that way.
So Yelp has a big bot problem, and requests that come through kind of hurt your business. So it's
my budget, yes.
Yeah, less helpful essentially. So you cut the Yelp advertising, and you're on Instagram, and you have your website, and then people can contact you by phone as well, I'm assuming.
Yes, that is 916-806-3656.
Awesome. We'll make sure we get all the links in the description below. We'll make sure we link back to the Instagram and website and phone numbers so people can reach out if they want to contact to get some of the cameras installed. And with that, I want to ask, so what are the main reasons people want a camera system in the first place?
Mainly crime, and as a business owners, liability questions. If something happened within the business premises, they want to know what exactly happened so they can protect the business. If someone violates the safety rules, they want to have the evidence of that and say, hey, in the court, if they go to the court, escalates to the court, so you can show, hey, this guy, we have a certain rules, he didn't put his hard hat, simple as that. Or he violated this rule, or he was smoking, that's what caused the fire or something, or when it's fight, you can review and see, who started the fight.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good use cases. It sounds like it could be crime deterrent, and it could be more legal protection. Should something happen, you have the video footage to back it up and know exactly who started what and what happened. So when people reach out and want to figure out what kind of cameras to get, how do you go about right sizing the request?
So first of all, we have to do a site survey. I cannot tell by the phone. Sometimes they're calling and saying, hey, how much will it cost to install 6 cameras? I don't know, because I don't know your building size. Is it 1-story building, 2 stories building? what's the square footage, where you want to have the main recorder, or you want a cloud-based system. It's all questions. So you have to just start with site survey, and then you have to understand the budget of that request. I went, did the site survey, gave him a decent price. He said, why so expensive? But the price was a little bit even below the market prices, because it was close to my house. I'm like, okay, I can do this in a day or two, the residential case. And he said, no, I'll do the wireless battery operated Arlo cameras. I said, well, okay. But in California especially, the battery operated cameras don't last for a long time. After 1 year, he called me and he agreed to my offer. So I did the installation for him the proper way. And so far he's happy.
No, that's great. The battery cameras and then the wired cameras or the wireless cameras, what are the benefits of that then? I mean, this one sounded like it was battery powered. I'm assuming it was wireless camera then?
Oh, of course, wireless battery powered camera. Yep.
Gotcha. So what are the pros and cons of a wireless versus a wired camera? What do you normally recommend?
Wired option is the best. It's more reliable. You can add the backup battery system to the whole camera system. But for the single battery operated cameras, it's good to have as a temporary solution. It's not a permanent solution. You have to understand that. And if you're spending some money, those are not cheap as well. It's better to do it the proper way from the beginning. So, good point. You don't run too many cables. You don't see pretty much anything. Easy to install, just 2-3 screws on the fascia board or, whatever you want it. And the bad thing, when your internet is down, there is nothing is recording there, basically. You don't see anything. And whatever happened, if you have power outages, there's no internet connection, you see nothing.
If the camera was a wireless camera, battery powered, and it was an outage, would you still be able to record during the outage?
Some of them have that option, some of them does not. Your cameras, during the power outages, if you add the backup battery, it will last for 2-3 hours. So you can add that battery.
So if you did go with the wired solution, so you have constant power, constant recording, there is an attachment you can get for the backup battery and continue recording while there's an outage. Hopefully the outage is resolved within a few hours, so you're good to go.
That's what average.
And that's a better option than the wireless ones, because the wireless ones, they degrade over time, and then you're going to have to replace the batteries or the camera system entirely.
And the benefit of having the hardwire connection, there is a 24/7 recording. Every second, keep recording. The wireless cameras cannot have that option just because of the battery operated. So basically, the wireless cameras, how they work, if they detect the motion, they just give you that short clip. But you don't see what happened before. You don't see what happened after when that person moved out of the, whatever you
frame.
draw the frame, yes, the camera frame, field of view, basically. But maybe he stood too far when it's recording 24/7. You can see him, even though he's far, you still can see him, But like I said, the wireless cameras don't have that.
So the wired option is always better. And what would you recommend for like the minimum setup, and what is kind of overboard for the amount of cameras that people need? Like how many is probably good for a residential home?
Here's the deal. If it's just a square house, the normal square shape, four is enough. But you always have you have to understand that there are dead spots under each camera, straight under the camera. There is no view on it. So you have to realize what's important for you. Do you want to see all the windows around the house? Whoever breaks in through the window, you can catch that moment. Do you want to see the front door? Or some of the systems now coming with the integrated doorbell, so you can integrate with your camera system. So it will record continuous recording 24/7 through the doorbell as well. It all depends on the customer's need. Some of the customers saying, "Hey, I just have 2 expensive cars in my garage. I just want one camera in my garage," But some of them saying, "Hey, I want to see all around, even my neighbors," Some of the people saying, "Hey, your camera, might see my backyard a little bit," and start arguing with you. No, it is legal. If you want, it's not violating your privacy. If you step out of your house, there's no privacy anymore. You have to understand that.
Interesting. Okay. Mm-hmm. So is that a common complaint that you get between neighbors, and does that typically come up like, "Hey, you're recording my house"? And what are those common like? In
the bad neighborhoods, I installed some camera for one of the house, and the neighbor came. I think they did some illegal stuff. Who knows? And they started almost fighting with me why I'm putting the cameras. But this is not their house. I was working on their neighbor's house. Bad neighborhoods usually have those complaints. The normal neighborhoods never had that complaints so far.
When you're doing the installs, what are like the common mistakes that you run into?
Like some of the mistakes, running the wire itself. This is the most common mistake, to make it more beautiful than it is right now. If I look back on my first installations, now I wouldn't do that way. I'll do it a little bit different, nicer way, cleaner way. But you're learning. Everything is unlearned, No one will teach you from A to Z how to do every little detail, how far away, how far apart, put the screw clips to clip the cable, or something. It all depends. It all depends how you want to do the job. And of course, depends on the customer's budgets as well. If the customer pays good, he says, just make it nice, beautiful, of course you want to do the best possible way.
When you set up a camera, let's say someone, whether it's a business or a residential setup, once they have it set up, what do they have to configure in the settings?
We just download the application on the phone, and I just explain how to set up the notifications. Basically, you can put the notifications during the motion, 24/7, or only certain period of time. That says after hours. So during the business hours, no, notifications coming on your phone.
What are some of the better brands of cameras that you've worked with?
The most advanced ones are Ubiquiti. Those are expensive. It's an enterprise level. Big facilities, they use those. It's a digital IP cameras, PoE cameras, basically. And it's integrated with so many stuff. With the door access, you can use your phone, NFC, whatever is built into the phone, just to tap your phone, open the door, get into the house or any business. The second good one, I like the interface. Those cameras are pretty much similar. They're all similar, especially new ones. Dahua, one of the brands, but their interface is not that great. But using the Dahua components, the Monteview making the great camera systems. Basically, they're using the Dahua components, they're adding their interface, so basically it's a new brand. But the camera itself, in fact, is the same camera, Lorex, that one is good for residentials and small commercial, buildings.
So those are the common brands that people go for. What do you think about like Nest and Google cameras? Are they worth it?
Those are toys.
As you go into getting ready for the job? What kind of tools is it? Is it like just a drill primarily that you need to poke a hole here or there?
Drill, impact, angle cutter, crimpers for the cables, cable testers, toners, so you can tone out the cable to find out what is the other end of the cable, especially in a large facilities with the huge server racks. So basically, ladders, scissor lifts. If by the way, you need a license to operate the scissor lift. Don't forget that.
So if you need a license for the scissor lift, do you need a license to do the camera install as well?
If it's a residential under 500 or 600, you don't need the license.
$500 or $600
Dollars.
For the install.
Dollars, yeah, for the install.
So do you have to get a new license for every house, or do you have just
No.
like a general license for?
Just C7 is the low voltage license.
And that lets you do your camera installs.
Not only camera, everything, including the fiber optics. That's what we do as well for a long run.
So how do you get your C7 license? Is that you go take a test at the county or city?
State license board, you go to the state license board, just fill the form, get the license. Yeah.
And does that cover all of California, or is it just for one city?
No, it's California.
All of California?
State. As I know, it's a state. It's not the city, it's just a state. And I don't know in how many states it's valid.
It's good for, you may have to get a different one for another state. That makes sense. So, I mean, it sounds like you do a lot. You said you do server racks, you do the cameras, you do fiber optics. So then how do you market yourself? Is it just word of mouth that we mentioned earlier? Do you do any paid advertisements or referral codes or anything like that?
Pretty much word of mouth. That's 90% of my work.
Nice. So it sounds like it just kind of grows. There's a need for it. And once you have one, then the next person refers the next, and then it keeps going.
As long as you do your job, good. You have to do it good, especially when you're starting, and keep that high level of the customer satisfaction. If you have that, you'll have jobs, always you'll have a work.
How does Horizon Security differentiate itself versus some of the competitors that do similar things?
I'll tell you that, first of all, the quality. And the second, we do impossible jobs.
Impossible jobs?
Impossible jobs. There were so many people, and we came to some of the jobs, and they said, you, the third or fourth company, they said they cannot do the way I want. I'm like, what's the way you want? Show us. He's like, I want this, that. I said, well, let me think what we can do in this point. We just go with my partners, discuss what's the possibility of doing this job, researching what kind of tools needed to do the way the customer wants, and how much it will cost to the customer. If the customer wants the certain way, what's the problem not doing that way? What's preventing us to do that way? If it's only the money, we can tell the customer, okay, this work will cost you that much. If he agrees, what's the problem to do that? If it's physically possible, why not to do that? And then we're doing that job, customer's happy, And then he tells his neighbors, oh, these guys did something impossible. Even today, I had such a good review. He said, you the best technician. I'm not saying, you the best tech we ever had in our house, because you understand our needs. No one listens what we need. They did just do the easiest possible way and running out of our house. I'm like, no, all right, well, I'll do the way you want. If it's possible, I'll do it, obviously. So that's it.
Nice. Yeah, so quality. It sounds like quality is the
number
reason.
one, yes.
You want the cameras to last. You want a good job. You want the wiring that done right. You're going to go with Horizon Security. You guys are going to do the best job, and you're going to do the impossible jobs as
Sometimes,
well.
yes.
If it's possible, you guys will. If the impossible is possible, you guys will get it done.
Mm-hmm.
If someone wants to get a camera install and they mention the Key Concepts podcast, can we give them a 5% discount as a referral code?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you guys heard it here. If you guys need your camera installed, call Vlad, message him on Instagram, call him, reach out to the website, whatever works, and mention the Key Concepts podcast. we'll get you a 5% discount code applied to whatever quote that he gives you guys.
All right. Sounds good.
Nice. We'll make that work. If you were to start all over again today, getting into the camera installs in this line of work, would you do anything differently at all?
I'm not sure. It's going to be same path anyways.
Yeah, if it works, it works, I guess, So you just, I guess the biggest thing is don't let it stop you, right? Like, don't be.
If you made a mistake, admit it, fix it, and make the customer happy.
Yeah, and just give it a shot. Like, don't let yourself stop you from getting into it if there's a passion there. What made you get into camera installation versus a different field? Like, why'd you pick this?
I just saw the demand on it. And, there was a job. I was a DirecTV contractor for years. And lately, DirecTV company goes down and they cut the contractors. They fire the contractors in one day. You wake up in the morning thinking you're going to you're going to have jobs. And I said, okay, we closed the company. No prior notice, nothing. And it happened to me a few times. And I said, no, okay, I cannot rely on being a contractor for different companies. I need something which I can make my living through those hard times. Of course, I'm still doing the satellite installations. I did the satellite for Viasat company. I did the satellite for Dish Network, DirecTV. I'm installing Elon Musk's Starlink. So I can install everything, for pretty much whatever related to low voltage.
If someone was to get into the camera installation business today, what kind of advice would you give them?
If someone wants to start, don't be afraid. Just try.
Just go for it.
Go for it. Just try. First of all, everyone have so many friends. They live in different houses or something, and they might not have the cameras. Offer them and say, hey, buddy, I can install the camera for you. You just pay for the cameras, or we can split the price. I just want to try on your house if you don't own your house. First, start with your own house if you live in a house, Install for yourself, see how it works, and then try for your neighbors, friends, and go on.
Yeah, and word of mouth will spread from there on out. Mm-hmm. If someone's watching right now and they're like, oh, why didn't you ask him this question? What would be that question that we didn't get to?
Yeah, you didn't ask me about the long distance camera installations. Let's says you have like 40 acres of land.
Oh my goodness.
How are you going to do that?
Yes, how are you going to do that on farms and acreage like that?
I did it, and I found out, we have the Mazer airfield. There's a military airfield. Close to them, I installed the large facility, and I installed the wireless transmitters, which transfers that camera signals for, I think, 4 or 5 miles range.
Wow.
Yes. So I installed those transmitters, and I realized when the aircraft is landing, it shuts down the cameras for that moment when it's landing. So basically, when they start their radar, it jams my signals. I lost a lot of money on that project, unfortunately.
Wow.
I didn't expect it going to be that hard. I installed everything. Everything was working, and all of a sudden, customers calling me, hey, there's interruptions in the camera broadcasting. I'm like, what the heck? I'm coming, checking everything. Everything is working. I'm leaving. It's not working for a minute or two or for 10 minutes, whenever they launch the radars, and it start working again. But I didn't know that. That was interesting. But I learned. I paid for my experience, basically.
How did you...
I fixed it. I found the right radio channel, because all this wireless equipment works on the radio channels. It's a radio waves. And I found a radio channel which not jammed by other equipment.
Wow. So if you're going to go long distance, farms, large properties, you're going to have the transmitters. Mm-hmm. And typically on those, there's frequencies, I guess you could say.
Frequencies, yes.
And as long as you set it so it doesn't interfere with aircrafts, you should be good to go with your camera system. So there's a way to do the...
If it's a short distance, it doesn't matter. But if it's a long distance, yes.
What else did we not cover today that we need to dive into?
Oh, if you want the hardwire connections for that long distances, you have to have the conduit and you have to have a fiber cable.
And that's probably very expensive.
Not now.
Okay,
Fiber
it's cheaper.
became cheaper, a lot cheaper now.
Nice. But
During the COVID, it became cheaper.
When you run the wires either through the attic or if you're running it over miles like that, like 40 acres, do you ever get your lines cut? Do animals ever chew the wires? Do you run into that at all?
That's a good question. Yes. Rats, mice, raccoons sometimes mess with cables. Rats in your attics, especially business, large facilities like warehouses, they have that problem. They chew the cable, they shorten the cable, and the least damage they can do is just damage the cable, so you can fix that. But if it's shortage, it might burn the network switch, the whole network switch. And there are some of the advanced network switches that are more expensive, but they have isolated ports, which means if something wrong is on one of those ports, it isolates and shuts off that port. It doesn't burn the whole switch, so stay without internet, without other things. So make sure you buy the right equipment for the customer needs, especially office buildings. It has to be that, those kind of switches, because you don't want to leave people without internet. Because on those switches, not only cameras connected, on those switches connected the IP phones, the Wi-Fi routers, the hardwired computers, printers, fax machines, and everything, and so on and so on.
Yeah, that makes sense. On that trunk port where everything is running, let that one port burn out or do whatever. Mm-hmm. At least you're not down. So if you need high availability, that's the way to go about it. Everything else will continue running and operating. Is there a way to prevent animals from chewing on cables? Is there a different material that's bite proof at all? Yes,
conduits. It's expensive for the customers, for every customer or just a new business. You need to spend a lot of money to run the conduits all over the place. It's not cheap. I mean, if you have money, we have no problem to install it for you.
And
but the average customer doesn't want. It's a 3/4 or 1 inch.
And the conduit, is that like a metal tube pipe? Yeah.
Metal or plastic, depends.
And then the wires will just be fished through that so that it doesn't get chewed up by animals. Mm-hmm. I think we covered mostly everything.
There is actually another type of cameras. If you don't have any internet connection, there is no way to have the power. There's a new type of the cameras. The UFI is making the great product. Actually, I'm building the house right now. There is no power, no internet. It's just ground up building, and I installed one of those cameras. So far, I'm happy. It's a subscription-based 4G. It works off of the 4G network. Was a solar powered. Of course, it's temporary solution. It's not gonna stay there for long. Once I finish the building, the house, I'm gonna remove that camera, obviously. But if you have the construction zones or something, you might want to have something. You want to keep an eye on the materials, building materials which are there.
What are all the locations that you do the installs for?
All over from Bay Area to almost Lake Tahoe, basically.
So up and down Highway 50, Highway 80. So from the Bay Area to Lake Tahoe and the surrounding areas. Do you ever travel down to Fresno, Los Angeles with those?
I did one project. Here's another thing. We design, let's say you're building the house. We design where is the outlets needed and where is the cameras needed for you, ground up. So on the framing, during the framing, once you pass the framing permits, we install our wiring for the future cameras. So once you build the house, once you complete everything, we just come connect the cameras and it looks so nice. I did one in Los Angeles. By the way, he was Armenian. I didn't even know he was Armenian. And, he thought I'm Russian because I have a Russian name, Vladimir. And that guy was, he has also not common Armenian name. And we discussed everything in English, we just came to the agreement. I installed all the wires. By the way, that guy didn't listen to me fully. He said, I just want 4 cameras. Here's another problem with the customers. They don't see what you can see. You have to explain. And sometimes they don't agree with you. And I said, 4 cameras is not going to be enough to cover around the house. Because there's different shapes, it's not like rectangular or square shape, There's so many turns and corners in the custom house. And I run the way he wants. I shouldn't do that, but I did it whatever he wants. And when the house was 100% built, I came, installed the cameras, whatever field of view it has, and he said, I cannot see this side. I cannot see that side. I'm like, that's what I tried to explain to you. And it's too late. Can you add the cable? I'm like, yeah, but it's going to be visible now because it's not inside of the walls, And it's a stucco walls. I mean, if you want, I can make a hole here, and you need to repair those walls. There's a brand new walls, And, he wasn't very satisfied. But still, I take it as my fault because I wasn't able to explain. And the difference between my way and his way was only $100. He tries to save that $100, which cost him later a lot more to install those wires,
So always listen to the recommendations. That's the tough part. Yeah.
So we did the project in LA just because we were in that area. But I would advise to find somebody who's closer to you. Don't call us just because it'll cost you a lot.
Well, if people want to go with you guys and they're willing to pay, hey, we'll make the trip, right?
Yes, if they pay, yeah.
What's on the roadmap for Horizon Security? What are next steps for the business? Are you going to be hiring more staff and expanding? Like, what's your 5-year projection, 10-year projection?
Get to the bigger projects or federal contracts. That's one of the best, possibly, but you need more licensing. And right now I'm working to get my GC, license, General Contractors B license.
Nice. So you guys can do residential, you guys can do commercial, you guys can do airports, farmlands, institutions,
apartment buildings.
There you go. And preferably with a lot of new builds for people that want to have the cleanest wiring, the cleanest installation. Those like Lennars and KB Homes where they're building hundreds of houses.
I offered them.
Yeah.
They don't want to spend any extra money. Before, back in the days, I believe 5-10 years ago, whatever, they offered that optional camera pre-installed wiring. Now they don't offer that. I went there, I gave him a deal, and I gave a deal to, what is it called? Richmond American developer. I mean, to my local guys. And they said, no, we don't do that anymore. Okay.
Well, maybe some of the smaller, contractors that do residential homes that are not doing hundreds of homes at the same time, maybe general contractors, they can include that in their service package. So
if they hear your podcast, if you hear your podcast, then call us. We'll give them a discount, obviously. We'll give them the best possible price.
And you'll do the pre-install. So the builders should really think about what that's going to look like because it's important to have the cameras nowadays. Mm-hmm. It's always good to know what's going on in your neighborhood.
It makes the neighborhood safer at least a little bit. If some of the houses in the same neighborhood have the cameras, at least you can track down which car was there, so you can give that information to the authorities so they can find those people.
Yeah, maybe you get a license plate at the very least.
Yeah. Oh, by the it's good you told about the license plate. There are special cameras called license plate readers, LPRs, that capture specifically the license plates. Those are expensive. Some of them are $1,000 per camera, some of them $700, But if you really want to capture the license plate, you have to have something like that. This special cameras.
So then everybody that drives in front of your house, you're going to capture the license plate.
Yeah, and you need 2 for your front yard.
2.
Just because to capture both ways, front and back license plates. There are so many vehicles without the front license plate.
Nice. Yeah, that's very like a big edge case. I could see that for maybe commercial, but you never know. Maybe residential wants to have that as well. Mm-hmm. You could always zoom in, right, and play back and try to read the camera, the license plate if something were to happen.
That's the night time is the most problematic one. The nighttime, the cameras, whatever cameras we have, doesn't give you that clear picture, especially on license plate, something small, You can see the vehicle, you can understand what kind of brand, make, model, but the color, obviously. But the license plate, you have to have something specific to focus only on the license plates.
Nice. Well, if someone really wanted it, then it's an option. So it sounds like you could satisfy every edge case, every random installation that someone has, any idea that they have. There's going to be a solution essentially. So
yes,
it can be done. All right. I think that kind of wraps us up then. Vlad, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Key Concepts podcast. It was a pleasure going through all the camera setups and how you go about your work. Why don't you share your website and social media handles one more time for the viewers out there that may want to follow you? And let's remind them about that discount code.
So basically 5% discount if you mention this beautiful guy.
Key Concepts podcast.
Yeah, and it's a hz-security.com is the website, and the same hd_security in Instagram.
All right. Well, thank you guys again for joining and tuning in. If you guys have questions, we would love to bring Vlad back to answer them. So drop the questions in the comments below, and we'll get to them if we can in the comment section. And if there's enough in there that warrants another episode, we'll do a follow-up. That sounds good. With that, have a great rest of your day and take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me tonight.
Thanks, Vlad. Appreciate it.